Supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. DiaThrive.com. That's D-I-A Thrive.com.
There's a new food show sheriff in town, Podna. Treys Chow Podcast Live will feature celebrity chefs and pitmasters with celebrity mixologists with creative cocktail menus from distilleries statewide. We'll have farmers, ranchers, wildlife experts, fishermen, and more, all for the culinary world and the foodies. Live from the Spoonie Studios on the iHeartRadio platform, Treys Chow Podcast Live.
And here we are, back for another day, Friday of Treys Chow Live here in, I guess you could say, DFW area. And today I'm excited. We've got Cowboy Chef Mike Newton in the studio. Mike?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
You ready to giggle?
Yeah, we are. We had to wrangle him to get him up here. Where do you live?
Lipan, Texas.
Yeah, Lipan. That's not that far.
No, it's not that bad.
So we're going to have a good show today. First, foremost, I want to talk real quick about we're having a big steak Wagyu roundup and cook-off next month in Midlothian at the new Blainstone Lodge. The lodge is fantastic. It's going to benefit the Chris Kyle Foundation. We've got a bunch of celebrity chefs going to be cooking Wagyu, is sponsoring it with all the beef. It's going to be a really neat deal. I'm going to talk to you about that when we get through.
Good. I like it. You said one thing, beef and steak.
That's right, beef and steak. That's right. So look up Blainstone Lodge. You can Google just blainstonelodge.com, and you can check it out. And so we're going to get on with the show now with Mike.
Let's get it on like Donkey Kong. Come on.
That's right. All right, Mike. So tell everybody you're from Lipan, but where were you originally from?
My wife and I both are from Irving, Texas.
Irving, okay.
And my family had a farm, ironically, between Irving and Grand Prairie. And everybody goes, "You're a liar. There's no farm out there." There was.
There was. There used to be nothing out there.
Yeah,
except
there was
farmland.
nothing but Shady Grove rats like us. And so
that's right.
We grew up there, and I don't know if I could say grow up. I don't think I still have yet to grow up, but you know, it's a great little town. We moved there. Both Melanie and I have known each other since '69, and I think back then it was probably about 30, 40,000 people. You cross 183 Airport Freeway, you actually had to cross into the medium and then sit and wait till that cycle and you went over. And it's changed a little bit since then.
I still remember when they put the because people know, but I-30 was a toll road at one time. I when they put that. I remember when they took the toll booths out and everything.
They still have that exit there at 360. You have to loop around and do it feel like you're on Six Flags Texas Giant trying to exit the highway.
So you grew up there, and where'd you go from there?
Well, I went from there. Then I moved out early when I was a kid, and I lived on that farm, and then I went to Paris, Texas.
Oh, good old Paris, Texas.
Yeah, right. That's your stomping grounds.
That's right.
I'm surprised we didn't stumble upon one another.
Yeah.
You know, and joke about Paris, Texas, you had to go to Mount Pleasant to Orange Blossom to go have fun. So,
that's right.
And that was a drive back then.
Yeah,
so.
not anymore.
I lived out there for about 3 years, running a ranch, managing, and you know, being a 21-year-old kid out there, you know, being single, it was a great time. I left, and then I came back to Dallas, kind of took a year off for studying, and I was a bum. I was just a bum. I was having a good time. I was water skiing and drinking cold beer, and one day I stumbled into a restaurant to hang out with a friend of mine. Next thing you know, I was washing dishes, and off we went, man.
Is that where it started?
It started.
You remember the name of the restaurant?
Yeah, Hamptons. It was Hamptons.
Okay.
Yeah, and Hamptons was it's now the old Snuffers in Dallas on Preston Center.
Okay.
And so it was a crazy 2-story restaurant, and came in and became a waiter, and never cooked, but always hung out with the cooks. Those are the fun guys, you know.
Right.
You know, they're assassins in the kitchen, and they're assassins when they're off. You know? I mean, here's the most. You know, most of the cooks always joke about they're crazy, they can't handle the life out, but in restaurant, man, they run on all cylinders, and they're fun to hang out with.
Kitchens have changed too. Those people in the kitchens have changed a lot since when you started. When I started too.
Right. You know, when I started cooking, or when I started getting interested, if you want to learn how to cook, you had 3 choices. You had to get a cookbook, a job, or a library card, because they didn't have what they do now.
Oh boy, I'm telling you.
I mean, you know, and chefs weren't like they are now. I mean, chef is really a kind of crazy thing. And I don't know if I'm really a chef. I'm just an experienced home cook is what I am. So, but you know, it's crazy. Now you work, and these kids now, you know, Master Chef Junior, these high school programs we go talk to are pretty crazy.
Don't some of the kids, when they talk on Master Chef Junior, they talk like grown-ups. It's amazing. Do they coach them before?
You know, no, there's not much coaching going on. But what it is, you know, these are like the baseball moms, the soccer moms, you know, the dads. You know, these kids are focused. They get into it. There's a great little kid named Nathan Maples out there, and Nathan is putting out some of the best barbecue, and he's not even in junior high yet. And the kid's amazing. And then you got Shane Train down in Houston from Master Chef. Incredible kid. The kid that would just burn his hand on television.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I haven't seen the next one. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. He's back up. He's firing. He said, "Hey, listen, I'm not going to quit my team over a little burn." So it's this dedication, this passion, and I think it's a great thing to teach your kids how to cook. I always joked about, my dad asked me, "When are you going to get a real job and get out of the restaurant business?" I go, "Well, it is a real job. I get paid at the end of the night. I never go hungry. I never go thirsty. And I don't have to take all the job home with me. And I come back up the next day."
That's right. And you get to eat.
Yeah, you get to. You'll never go hungry.
That's right.
So I've worked in a restaurant. I bounced around. I worked for Jack Baum for a long time, on and off. Who owns Hamptons, Newports, Sam's Cafes, and I kind of work for him. I get fired, and then I come back and get fired and come back. But I worked for some great restaurants in Dallas and Houston, and so there's just a passion always for me enjoying the restaurant business. It's a great restaurant. It's a unique bond of people. It's a diversity in the thing.
It's very diverse.
And I'd probably say that I wasn't introverted by any means, but when you get to a restaurant, it teaches you some things real quick. It teaches you. I think you got to do two things. Military and restaurant business. It teaches you how to get up in the morning, get your bed made, and then it also teaches you to talk to people.
There was a colonel that did a big speech at the one of these big functions in Washington, and the speech has been seen like, I don't know, it's been like 110 million times. And he started off by saying, "You're not going to be anything if you can't get up, make your bed in the morning before you leave your bed."
That's a rear admiral. He's a Navy SEAL from Navy SEALs. Is the first thing that does, and my wife will tell you that, because I said, if you want to be successful, get out of bed and make your bed. It's your first step.
I do every morning.
I may not brush my teeth anymore, which I should, but I mean, if I keep that up, brush my tooth in the morning.
That's right.
But, I think it's a great thing. You get up, put your feet on the ground, get your day started. And you and I are both early risers. We text back and forth, joke back and forth, on Facebook in the mornings, 3, 4 in the morning. So, but it's always a good thing, I think, to get started and get your day going, and get that mindset. I'm a to-do list guy.
Yeah.
And my wife is not. My wife's a night owl and I'm an early riser. So it's kind of, we get our time away because we work together, we live together, we play together, and sometimes I'm surprised she hasn't killed me together.
Mine makes a list too. Everything's about all the stores, everywhere we got, everything she got to do. And if we ever forget that list, we always forget stuff, because I'm always like, I don't know.
What?
I don't know what. I don't know. I think so. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's when my wife says, you need to do this today, do this today. And I go, what? What are you talking to me? And next thing you know, I'm in the doghouse. But
so where did you get your passion? So where did you become passionate about it? Because you're passionate about it now. So where did you become passionate about being a cowboy cook? And how'd you make that transition? Let me ask you that.
For me, it was always, when I was young, my mother had a surgery and I was the only one at home. My brothers were much older and they had left. And so during the summertime, I would have to stay at home with her when I was in 5th grade, which was probably 1974, 75. And so if you're watching television, you had Bugs Bunny and that till about 11, then you had cooking shows, and I had to be with her till 2. And so, I had to cook stuff for her, do that, because she was literally bedridden. And I think that was the first part. But then, like I said, if you didn't have a cookbook, you had the Galloping Gourmet, Graham Kerr.
Right.
Yeah, Julia Childs.
Right.
I think Jeff Smith, or there was and Justin Wilson, you had those few. And so I did it, and I kind of had to fit in. And I don't know if you noticed, this body isn't built by salads.
No. So you said about Justin and Julia and all those shows were different. Those shows were actually about cooking a recipe and making a recipe and seeing how it came out. Nowadays, the shows have changed. The formats have changed. There's less about cooking, more about the chef, more about different stuff going on. It's not as quite as in detailed. It's a hurry up. You don't get to see the whole recipe being made and make it.
Right.
They're different. The platforms are different.
Yeah, and that is so true. It's entertainment. Back then it was functionality, but back then we had 3 channels: UHF, an independent channel, and PBS. And so if you didn't like it, you found your way outdoors to do something.
That's right.
If not, your parents would find you something to do. So you always found your way away. But I always did, and always liked to cook. And then when I moved, when I graduated from high school, I was living on that farm in Irving. That's kind of, you're 18-year-old with your own house on 80 acres in the middle of the Metroplex. You have a lot of friends. A lot of friends want to come and drink beer. And, and I started cooking chili and stuff, and people go, hey, you're pretty good. And I like food. I always did.
I love food.
I love it.
It's sexy.
Yeah, people say, what would be your last meal? And I go, get out of jail free card. I want to keep eating.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it just did. And I started working these restaurants. And then, I thought, hey, chicken fried steak as a kid growing up, spaghetti meatballs, the simple Tex-Mex type stuff. And then I went to work in these restaurants and I watched food they were putting out. I worked in the fish restaurant, and fish for us was out of the freezer or Long John Silver's or something. And then you start seeing this fish and you see these food and the expression, go like, I had to watch them. I'd go in the kitchen and watch them. And then I'd start reading. And when I worked at Hamptons, there was a good friend of mine, still today one of my best friends, Tootie Frank Johnson. And Tootie used to, she was tough as nails. I tell you, I would take on anyone in that restaurant toe to toe, but her. I watched her shake down. 3 guys were hanging out back smoking cigarettes, and she went out and chewed them out, locked them out, and made them walk back to the front door. But she had this cool way of cooking, and I would go dove hunting, so I'd bring doves in. The next thing you know, for lunch, we're having dove, and I think it kind of grows with you. The more you eat, the more, if you really have a passion for food, I'm just not just Texas cowboy cuisine. I'm trying foams now,
right?
But it's just
but everything's self-taught, right? Self-taught, yeah.
Yeah, I went to college my freshman year. I looked at my dad and said, "Listen, buddy, don't waste my time nor your money."
Me too. Yeah, it didn't work out well for me either. I'll have to tell you what I told the professor, but it didn't work out well for me either.
Well, 30 years. I'm a 30-year freshman right now, so
yeah.
But my dad, so when I started working at a restaurant, I went back to my dad and said, "I think I got accepted to Culinary Institute of America." I said, "Dad, I think I want to go to." He goes, "Well, I ain't paying you to go to cooking school." I went, "Oh, okay." So, and I'm glad he didn't, because I was a pretty immature kid. I mean, I think I was, and I may still be if you ask my wife.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to go see stuff. I always wanted to push stuff to the edge, and that's what happened. And Texas cuisine's always been special to me. People go, well, they think Texas, they think chili and Tex-Mex, and they don't understand the true dichotomy of this food that we have. We got Czechoslovakian, German, Italian, French, origin, Spanish. I mean, but now you got the Vietnamese. You've got a huge population of Indians, in the Metroplex and in Houston, and to go to these restaurants, pho is one of my favorite things. And so I tried making it. By the way, it's cheaper to buy.
Yeah, we beat California this year in the study they did. A big study. It was the USA Today or New York Times or somebody. I don't remember who it was. If someone's going to Google it, but I don't know. But we beat out California for food first and being first in food, and dishes and different cultures and stuff.
Well, heck, all of them have moved here. That's why.
I know.
Just keep your politics there. I don't want to get into that stuff. But we won't even talk about I don't even talk about politics anymore.
Yeah, that is. But you're right. We have on any one street. There's 10 different cultures of food. I mean, we didn't used to be like that. It used to be steak, chicken fried steak, beef, sandwiches, hamburgers. I mean, it is so diverse now. It's phenomenal.
We used to live down here in the 7th Street area. Melanie and I did before we moved to the ranch full time. And, it was always great. We could say, hey, let's go have a banh mi. And she goes, well, I want to go have, enchilada. Next door to each other, you have one serving the banh mi and one serving enchiladas. And so it's always great. And for my kids, we being a pretty decent cook, when we went out to eat, it was very difficult because they go like, we want a steak, but we'd rather just stay at home with you. So, but I've always liked the Texas culture. I'm a proud Texan. I lived outside of this, and everybody knew wherever I lived, I was from Texas.
Yeah.
It was home.
Yeah.
And, from Virginia to California, even one of those, the different cultures there, but I always had a passion for Texas food, and of course chicken fried steak, but you got to improve a chicken fried steak. When you got people out there like Grady Spears and Tree Birds and all these people that make Mary's, and I can't say, be honest, I just, how do you compete with that? Well, you got to make it better.
Yeah.
You got to do something different. And, it's hard.
I do that steak article. I do that chicken fried steak article every year. I do the best chicken fried steak for the year, and every year it's hard because there's just a narrow margin, and it's just how you prepare them and that one little special thing that makes it better. Because there's a lot of good chicken fried steaks out there.
There really are.
It's tough.
And I don't necessarily say bigger is better because I can't eat like I used to, but I tell you, go out to Mary's and they put that stuff. You could feed a small Cambodian army with her serving.
So for somebody listening to never made chicken fried steak, how do you do yours? Start to finish? How do you do? You can.
Well, I've kind of taken on. What I do is I'll go down Monday or Tuesdays, and here's my secret I'm giving out. I'll go to the grocery stores and find out what steaks they have left over from the weekend.
Right.
And so I like a New York strip is what I do.
Right.
So I'll take it and I'll go home and I'll pound it and tenderize it down a little bit.
How long does that take you to do that when you pound it?
A couple minutes.
Okay.
Just a couple minutes. It sounds a little awful right there. But I like a good size. And then what I do is I bread mine. I just do a simple, I do salt and pepper. And sometimes I add a little cayenne or a little, I get my seasonings over here at Pendry's.
Right.
So I get a good chili mix. And so I do it that way. Then I coat it in egg and buttermilk. And then I go back to the flour again. And then I fry it at 350. And I actually went out and bought one of those Waring fryers, those little bitty ones. We use those on the show. And I've got 2 or 3, and we can run those, and you got to put them in different sockets. My house, it'll throw the whole breaker off to the whole house. But I fry them that way, and I just do a quick fry on them and, get them where they're nice and crispy, and then you serve them hot. I like to do a little jalapeno cream gravy, a little bit of onion.
I like the jalapeno cream gravy.
You got to.
That's the best stuff.
It is.
Oh, gosh, my mouth's what.
I'm thinking about it. I think that my arteries made it. The doctor goes, check my blood and goes, can I get a chicken fried to go with this thing?
Jalapeno cream gravy.
Yeah, that's right. Look at these jalapenos. We talked about that earlier. But I won't finish up chicken fries. So I do my chicken fried steak, and then I serve mine with I do chipotle mashed potatoes, or always have mashed potatoes, because you got to put that cream gravy on everything. And then, we always throw up some different sides. But you know what? Honestly, I don't care about the greens when you're eating that.
No, mashed potatoes is fine. I think chicken fried steak has to have mashed potatoes. That's just my opinion. That's how I feel it should be eaten.
And the last thing is, I want to grill these and then put them in a bag first. Get them more than that, and then have the grilled pepinos when you're finished. That's just. And when you're done, you're done. That's nap time.
It changes the heat factor quite a bit when you grill them, right? It opens up the pores.
It does, and I think it just gives you a better flavor.
Yeah.
I always like people. How can you eat jalapenos? Well, you take the veins out of them now, and I think we were even talking about not jalapenos aren't as hot as they used to be. But it's always nice when one surprises you, reach up and kick in the six and say, hey. But yeah, they're getting bigger and all that. And wow, they're different.
And y'all need to stay tuned to the end of the show, because we're going to show you some good stuff. The end of the show, something you're probably going to want for when it comes to cooking jalapenos. So y'all better stay tuned. Anyway, all right, so go ahead. So how do you make your jalapeno gravy?
Well, my gravy starts off with butter, minced onions, a little bit of garlic. I don't put a lot of garlic, and then I let that just become translucent. Then I add then I add a little bit of flour to get my roux going, and then I'm slowly add in my milk. I've been known to throw sometimes I ran out of milk one time, put a little buttermilk in it. It was pretty good.
Pretty good.
But I like it, and then I let it slow cook down, salt and pepper. I salt and pepper it, and I don't even use iodized salt. I don't even think we have iodized salt in our kitchen anymore.
Sea salt?
I'm mainly a kosher sea salt Maldon or a Fleur de Sel. Sorry.
Salt is so important. I got to tell you, I tell a story all the time, because I never forget it. I've known Grady since he was a kid, but he still amazes me the things he does. And we were at his restaurant. The restaurant was packed. They had an hour and a half waited outside the sidewalk. Every table was full. The bar was full. They were serving chicken fried steaks, and he was sitting there talking to me and some other guys. And this guy brought out 3 chicken fried steaks, right? Mm-hmm. And okay, I'm looking at you. The guy's behind me, and all of a sudden, the guy walks by Grady. And I see Grady turn around and grab him by the shoulder and say, "Come back here a minute, man." And I said, I looked at Grady and said, "What's he doing?" He said, "Man, you got to salt those." Somehow, he got salt and put salt on them, and then let the guy go on. But somehow, out of the corner of his eye, when the guy was coming out of the kitchen, he saw there was no salt on there, and he just said, "That's just so important." I've never forgot that story.
He's amazing. I got to tell you a little sidetrack here. I for a little while left the restaurant business. I got in the club business. I was working for the 80 Group. And, and I was working down in Houston, and here comes Grady walking up. And he worked at a vegetarian restaurant, Movable Feast, which is a funny name for a vegetarian restaurant. But, and he goes, "Oh, I'm going off to," I think that's when he was leaving to go to the marathon. "Well, you're going that way. I'm going to Phoenix. Good luck." And then I'm reading like something, a Texas Monthly, and here's Grady plastered all, and look where he went. And well, I'm just now catching up. I don't even think I'll never catch up with Grady, but I mean, that's me. But it was just amazing to see what he did, And people talk about Grady, but I can say he's one of the most fun guys to be around.
We all have our demons, baby. I got them every. You just got to work.
My halo's not going to blind anybody. I tell you. I think it fell off many years ago, right next to those angel wings.
I dragged mine behind me on a little fish hook.
I think my wife dangles it from me like a carrot, so I keep trying to go for it. Nah, but I mean, it's amazing, and we'll skip back and forth. We both look like a couple of squirrels. We jump around, but when you do the jalapeno and you do the jalapeno cream gravy and your gravy and your chicken fried steak and the jalapenos, you start talking about Texas food, and it's funny that when people come from other states, what they want chicken fried steak.
Yeah, they do.
They want Texas food and
biscuits.
Yeah, biscuits, and oh man, good old cat head biscuit.
So Mike does he donates his time to the Fort Worth Food Bank, actually Tarrant County Food Bank, and it's a culinary program. He teaches they have a culinary class down there, which y'all have heard about. Y'all heard Manny on the show, but he donates his time, and he made biscuits down there one morning. And I had my video camera stuff, and did you ever see that slow-mo deal I made with the be butter and the biscuits?
No, I didn't.
No, I posted on social media.
My wife is dropping the ball on.
It was sexy. You rubbing that butter brush. I did super slow mo. It looked good.
I'm bleeding right now. Biscuits is a big thing. And I think we got one of my T-shirts around there somewhere. But I came up with a saying, and this is what it is. Growing up in Texas, biscuits are important.
Yeah, they are.
for a lot of cowboys around ranches, you know, if there's anything left over, you watch them, they're stuffing them in their pocket on the way out. And a good friend of mine, J.W. Brooks, customer out, used to talk about, he was working in New Mexico, and he went out there one morning, ate his breakfast, see all these cowboys just stuffing biscuits. He goes, what's that for? Because that was lunch and maybe even dinner.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can't beat a good biscuit. My saying is good fences make good neighbors.
That's right.
Good biscuits mend broken fences.
That's right.
But, you know, I like Angel biscuits, and I probably got 2 or 3 different biscuit recipes, but biscuits and those type of things, when you make them, that is really kind of my test for someone, what type of cook they are. If you know, store-bought, if you have store-bought, then I can know where we're going to have for dinner. We'll probably have TV dinner for
probably so. Now, do you have recipes on your website?
I do have recipes.
That's right. So they can go to your website. Well, I'm going to refer back to this a bunch, but your website?
CowboyChefNewton.com.
That's right. CowboyChefNewton.com.
That's Newton with NEWTON.
Yeah.
So
he's got recipes on his website, which is cool. And his website's got all kinds of neat stuff. But I saw you put and I copied and pasted. I mean, I screenshot it, and it was some kind of margarita.
Oh, the prickly pear margarita.
Prickly pear margarita, yeah.
I worked at a restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona called Richardson's, and it's a small little place, had 13 booths in a big U-shaped bar. It did miraculous number, but he was from New Mexico. I mean, he was a New Mexico guy that lived there, and he was typical restaurant, bizarre as can be, but totally successful. I mean, you got to be a little quirky and crazy to be in the restaurant business, and especially if you're in the ownership side of it.
Yeah.
But he would make those, and so I just had a taste for those, and then I found prickly pear syrup, which now, you know, thank God for Amazon. It's Christmas year round.
We buy everything on Amazon.
I know.
It's crazy. You don't have to, I let Janet does everything, but we buy. We know if I find a spice or something, we do. Bam! It comes there at the house.
Right, exactly. If I could buy cows on Amazon, I'd be broke.
I'm a touchy-feely kind of guy about cattle, man. I don't know.
I know. I couldn't get in the Superior. No, here's Superior. They do a great job.
Yeah,
but buying cattle online is crazy.
That didn't sound right, touchy-feely, when it comes to buying cattle. But,
that's okay.
But I mean, I like to tap them on the head and trip their back. I mean, I just like to look at them, you know, look at their carcass and everything, because people lie to you. The horse business and the cattle business, a lot of crooks and thieves in that business.
Well, let me tell you, and I've been very successful buying cattle. I was actually going to Master Chef, and we do farm and ranch real estate over. Right. My wife negotiated a deal, and while I was gone, she bought 15 head of cattle for 50 cents on the dollar, and lost a couple of them, just, you know, but I made more money on that cow. It's the best cattle purchase I've ever made, and I wasn't even there.
That's good.
I'm the Mr. Haney of the real estate business. When people are getting rid of their farms and ranches because they just figured out they just picked up a 3rd and 4th job, I go, what are you selling?
That's
I bought tractors and cattle, and I brought home stuff that I probably shouldn't have. But, you know, that's the beauty of ranching, you know. I mean, every morning, people say I'm a rancher, and you don't measure my place by section. But
you meet a lot of people ranching. I mean, you meet a lot of people ranching, chefing, those two things, restaurant owners, those 3 things. You meet a lot of people. It's a social type business. You go up and talk to guys. If you're a ranch, go up and talk to people at the feed barn, the sale barn. It's a neat business. Well, it's long hours, but it's a neat business. You
know, I wouldn't give it up for anything. If everyone said pick one job, it'd be tough between cooking and ranching. And I want to tell you, the beauty of it is I could have the worst day in town. And let me tell you, I'm not that far away from Fort Worth, but it's a long drive. And, you know, and my stress starts to go up as I get, you know, just to Weatherford and you get down that Alito area gets really stressful. But the beauty of it is when I leave Fort Worth and I pass that exit right there by Teskey's and you drop in that little, and you can see it, I go like, all right, I'm almost there.
Yeah, almost there.
And people don't understand, I think that, you know, living out there, it is hard work, but it's a quality of work.
Yeah, I was kidding. It's not that far out there. I was just teasing when I said that.
It's not that far, but I mean, it's close enough that hopefully when they expand Fort Worth that far, I'll still, well, no, I don't know. I hope I'm not over, but it's getting that way though now. I used to joke about it, and my dad said, well, it'll be one day maybe Fort Worth will touch Weatherford. Well, we're almost there.
Yeah, well, we're that's close. Can you believe it? We were talking about the other day about how, did you talk about Grand Prairie a while ago? And there used to be miles. It used to seem like going from Arlington to Weatherford was like a day trip, but it's really not. But that's what it used to seem like.
Right.
There was nothing anywhere.
No, and you know the Metroplex. You talked about the old Dallas-Fort Worth Turnpike, and I remember my dad get on there, and you'd go and you drive to Dallas. Thought you'd take forever, and then you go to when I was a kid, young, We got to Fort Worth 183. We left Irving, 183, and they didn't have the airport freeway going on. So you had to go through Hurst, Euless, Bedford. And, hit those lights all the way into Fort Worth and get the stock.
On 10.
Yeah.
On 10, yeah.
My dad, I remember hauling cattle to the stockyards.
Oh, yeah. We
I guess I'm dating myself.
Okay, guys, we're going to take a break because these people that own this station, Spoonie, they like to pay bills. I don't know why, but everybody likes to. They're capitalists. Like hell, I am too. I guess I know you are.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Website Man. But we're going to go to a break. Y'all, let's do some commercials, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about his career now, Master Chef, his website. So stay tuned. Give us a few minutes, like 3 minutes. We'll be back. 3 and 3, I think. See y'all in a minute. Bye.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
Funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RADUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism,
Yes,
so you're
it does.
burning more.
Yeah, it
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com. RIDUzone.com.
Okay, here we are. We're back again for another 30 minutes of Treys Chow live on Spoonie. I still can't believe they gave me my own show. I don't know how they got it, but they did.
You've been good at it. We got to get you on the big screens now.
Yes, that's right. So we're going to talk about, I want to talk about Master Chef. I want to talk about the progression that started. So tell me from start to finish, how did the deal with Master Chef come about?
Well,
when I saw you on there, I was going to say, when I saw you on the first time, I was like, Jesus, no. Anyway, go.
They lowering the standards for the show. We have a great friend that we grew up with, Melanie and I did. Her name is Delinda Dudley. And the year before, she said, go try out for the show Food Fighters. And I said, let's throw caution to the wind, and I'm going to go try out. So, you have to make food again. And you go over to I went over to a hotel in Addison, and that show was on NBC. It was with Adam Rich, the guy, used to go Man versus Food.
Right.
And so I went, and I almost got to Hollywood, and they said, you're going. Then a week later, said, you're not. I think the lawyers made a decision to go with someone else.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, bucket list, strike that off the bucket list. Well, between that and December of that year, 15, bear with me, I had a small stroke.
Right.
And I don't know if you can say it's a small stroke, but I had a stroke. and so we didn't know what was going on with me. And then January 2nd, we woke up, and I was just feeling awful. I looked at my wife and I said, let's go to the hospital. And so I spent about 8 or 9 days in the hospital. And while I was in there, the casting director from Food Fighters calls me and says, I need you to go to the show. And I said, well, I'm in the hospital. She goes, well, it's not till April. I go, well, she's a good salesperson. So she says, if you go, we'll give you VIP, you just walk right in. And I go, like, that's no big deal. The last one, when I was me and one other person.
Yeah.
And so I go, well, I'll think about it. Well, in the interim, my wife and I had bought a ranch, the Double Inn, and so The day of it, we had closed a few days before. I was out there. It was a rainy, dreary day, cold, and I think it was March or April. And Melanie asked me if you're going to show. Well, after a stroke, you become a little petulant. That's how I had a beard. I'm not a beard-wearing guy.
Yeah.
And I was out there, and I was cutting firewood in a hoodie and jeans and pair of boots and a black hat, typical attire for me. And she goes, "Are you going to go to the show?" I said, "I don't think I'm going to go." She came out. She said, "My wife's not this way." She goes, "If you don't want to go on that, if you don't go, I don't want to ever hear you bitch about it."
Yeah.
And that's not her way. And so I said, "Well, I don't have anything." She goes, "You got pork chops in there that you're brining." So I went in there and I said, "All right, I'm going to do it." I mean, I had to. I talked myself into it because I was scared of my wife.
Yeah.
And I took a pork chop that I've been brining in salt and brown sugar, and so I tenderized it and left a bone on it.
Right.
I breaded it, and I made the jalapeno cream gravy and put that. And I had some enchiladas I made up, smoked chicken with jalapeno with sour cream sauce, and then I made some chipotle guacamole. Put it in a hot bag and a cold bag, and then drove all the way into Dallas into the Marriott Hotel. And I go up there, and there's like 5,000 people. I'm going like, holy, what? I think I still can sneak out to the truck. And about that time, the casting director saw me, and so they moved me up the front of the line. So I get into the interview process, and I hope I can talk about it. Now I'm sure I'll get a letter from Indoshine. One potato, two potatoes. Tell me, we need to talk. But you get in there, and there was this room, U-shaped room, about 50 people in it. And so I'm looking across the room, and I'm dressed like a dirt bag, but that's okay. I'm a bum. We're all bums. So I get there, and I'm the first guy that they have a chef. There's a chef on that side, and there's a chef on this side. Chef on this side walks. I'm the first guy. Beautiful girl next to me from Highland Park, dressed to the nines, got those Christian Louboutin shoes with the red soles on.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, thanks for dressing up." I go, "Listen, buddy, if this doesn't work out for me, I've got a ranch to go tend to." He goes, "Well, thanks for showing some personality." So he eats into it, and he eats it and bites it, and he goes, "Can I say son of a bitch?" He goes, "Son of a bitch, this is good." I went, "Wow." He goes, "I mean, this is the best thing I had. We went to the restaurant in Dallas last night. They would have had this is what I've ordered. This is great." So he calls the other chef over. And the other chef come over, is a French guy, has the toque, whatever. I go, "Where are you from?" "Tucson." He goes, "Paris, Texas." I'm being smart on it. And so he said, "It's the best thing." He goes, "You just have personality and keep going." So then they select a few of us out of the group, and like 10 of us, and they interview you. And I didn't realize it was a producer of the show, and they just asked me my story, and I tell it. And next thing you know, they said, "Well, we'd like for you to come back to the film testing." I'm like, son of a gun. They want me to come back next time. I go, like, "Nope, I can't do it." So a Tuesday I did. The following Tuesday I went over, and I finally see the casting director. She goes, "Yeah." And then a guy that I'd met before, and so they go like, "Wow." So they said, "Just be yourself." And I go like, "Are you sure you want that?"
Yeah, right.
And then they say, "All right." Then they send you this bunch of paperwork. Of course they have to do their due diligence with you, background checks. And then they call me back and go out to Irving, ironically, and they gave me a big test to take 500 questions. It's called the Minnesota Multiphasic Inventory. And then they talk to you about your background. I managed to pass 3 tests. First time in my life I ever passed 3 tests in one day.
I know I can't pass any test. I barely passed a driving test.
So they said, "Well, we'll call you." And I go like, "If you're going." So you sit in limbo, and I probably sat in limbo for a month and a half. And then right before, about a week before they say that they're going to have people in LA, they called me and said, "Hey, you're going to LA and you need to pack up your stuff." Well, the funny part of it was when you pack up, they want me to bring a couple pair of boots, a couple of hats, all my shirts and jeans.
Yeah. Your personality.
Yeah.
Your hats and your boots, your personality.
Well, you try packing those for a Southwest airline flight.
Oh, yeah, it's possible.
So I had 3 bags, get out of the airport 4 o'clock in the morning.
But American Hat has given me some special containers to carry my hats in, so they stack them. They're real nice.
They're very nice. My friend J.W. Brooks, who builds those custom hats, and actually Capital Hatters, who I buy hats from down in Stephenville, they both give you those things. And you got to carry them. But I tell you what, you try and carry that in 3 pieces of luggage through an airport.
It's impossible.
So I'm looking across the room, and the next thing you know, if you watch the show, there's Reba walking in with like one little satchel. I go like, what the heck is going on here?
Well, she can buy wherever she's going.
Well, that's another one. She's like Tootie Frank. I'm scared to death of that woman. I sat close to her. No one's going to get on me with her there. Reba's a dear friend of mine. And so, then you get off there and you get off the airplane and your whole perspective change. You get there, there's a lot of people there. You're trying out. And then, as you saw on television, you go up one-on-one, which made me nervous. I said, well, all right, I've accomplished something. I've made it to the show. And then that competition in me sticks in. I go, I just want to make the show. Well, I know I just want to make the show. I want to beat this guy. And so we did the cupcake. And ironically, right before I went, I made a chocolate cake at home,
right?
Which was 3-layered chocolate cake, and it turned out pretty good. But I added a little coffee to it, and then on the chocolate, I did add a little bit of bourbon and a little bit of chipotle. And then
that was good.
I did my pecans. I did with little mini things. And
oh my God.
Salt. And so I went up against this guy, and he had some insiders trying to figure out what I was doing. I found out. So I baited him a little bit and got him thrown off course. And then I did it. And then the first thing you do is the first person to try my cupcake is Christine Tosi. Now, if you don't know who she is, then you don't know who Milk Bar and why are you watching the show? I mean, she goes, it's really slush, it's sweet, it's really good. I would add a little bit more flour. I'd work on your frosting, and she walked away and went like, son of a gun, I just got to, then I'm thinking maybe a Roan will try it. No, here comes Gordon Ramsay.
Oh boy,
I go like, son, here we go. He looks and he goes, it's rich, it's luscious, it's heavy, it's dense. If you can do this with a cupcake, I'd like to see what you can do with a steak. Which later in the show you got to find out. So you get that, and I still get goosebumps on that. I mean, and people don't understand. Gordon Ramsay, everybody goes, "Oh, he's a mean guy." He's a
business guy.
He's a business guy. He's all about businst, and he's
yell
all
about TV personality too.
Yeah, you yell at him, you're gonna yell back. And let me tell you, I never made that mistake. And I told you the story about when first time he said, "Newton, you're 53, I'm 51." I go, we're over 100 years old. I go, well, he goes, well, we're over 100 years old. And I go, well, remember, older fiddle, sweeter music, and respect your elders.
That's right.
And he's good, but man, he goes from that boom to the next one, and he's a big boy. I mean, people don't realize.
No, he's big. Yeah,
he's big, and people say, I'll whoop him. I go, you better bring someone with you because you're not going to touch him.
No, I saw him in Vegas. He's a big boy, man.
He is, and if he can't whoop you, his bodyguard sure can. But then you get on the show.
He's a big rich boy now.
Yeah. We talked about. He didn't talk about the show. He goes, let's go take first class, and he goes, first class when we take my jet.
That's right.
You have a jet, you made it, I think.
Yeah.
Or you're a thief. Or a pilot.
Or a politician.
Can't talk about politics.
That's right.
So, then we, that was, so I luckily beat out Tom, which he's a dear friend of mine. And it's amazing going to that show, how many friends I have. And so, I'm going to digress a little bit. Having that stroke and then going to do this, it changed the whole way I look at things. And so, you get on this show.
That has tendency to change people.
It certainly does. And, second chances, that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
So, you go through this show and, then you go up to the next one.
What's it like standing there? And I don't know how you are, but I'm sure it's easier. It gets easier as you progress. But what's it like standing there in front when they're talking to you and you're on camera and Are those takes ever retaked?
No.
Okay, that's all. Okay.
Yeah, there's no fake to this.
Okay.
I want to tell you, I'm not just saying because I was on the show.
A lot of the shows are retakes.
Yeah, when they say you got 45 minutes, you got 45 minutes. There's no cut, break, let's get the makeup out. It's boom. I want to tell you, the first time you're going out there before the cameras, which I'm a camera hog, probably you'd say. Yeah. I'm a little bit, extroverted. And so that didn't bother, but I was standing in line for you to come out those gates for that first challenge.
Yeah.
And it's like if you played high school football or sports, it's before that first game, your stomach's rumbling,
Yeah.
You were looking for a restroom, you got to sprint back to the restroom or something. And, it was really an incredible experience. It was the first time in my life. It's like, if you ever rode a bull, it's like getting on, like, I'm going to get killed, what's going to happen, I want to be the first guy cut from the show. There's a lot of things going through your head and you're nervous. And they give you a mystery bag of what you're going to cook that day. And I just looked at it and go like, meatloaf, it was me. And
well, that's part of the show. You have to be able to think quick on your feet.
You do. And I don't know how these guys do it on that show Chop, but they do.
Oh, well, that's quick. That's real quick.
Yeah. And so I go, well, just throw caution when. I mean, every day I'm here, it's a God-given blessing, and so I'm going to stay. And so we got through that first one, and the guy that was feeding information to Tom up against me in the cupcake was the one that was kind of the jerk on the first show. And,
okay.
And so when he left, I just did the old wild curly brocious and bye. Good riddance. But it's incredible you do, and it's boom, boom, boom. We're going to do this, and when you're there, it's not a vacation.
I know it's work.
I was gone for almost 3 months.
Yeah,
and limited time. You're sequestered because of the show. It's and you don't get a lot.
Because they can't trust anybody. One person's going to go out and sell something, they're going to be in trouble.
Right. And so that's all that testing they do. But probably the big part was they only gave me 10 minutes a week to talk to my wife. And then we were ranching. We had the real estate business, and we were having contractors building corrals and stuff while I was gone. And she was
So I guess she was taking care of everything while you were gone. She's in there watching you now.
No, she's taking care of everything.
She might come through that glass if you don't.
I saw that's plexiglass. She can't get through that. I'm safe. There's a lock on that door. But, I mean, and she was there, and bless her heart, she never crumbled once. But, after about 3 months, almost 3 months.
That's a long time.
It is. And, boy, she's a trooper. They always say, I always joke about that, behind every good man, there's a great woman. Yeah. I have a great one. And, behind every good chef's a great sous chef. But it was a wonderful experience, and we'll talk more a little bit about some of the other things. But I think as you progressed on, I got a little bit more comfort. When we were in Santa Monica doing that one, it was in August. I had boots and jeans, a long sleeve shirt. That was probably the toughest thing I ever did. I was cooking over a grill. I was flaying fish, cooking over a grill, and full cotton clothing boots, black felt hat in the middle of August with no wind or anything. They were sticking the water to me, and we won. That was a good one. And then the debacle with the lamb where I just miscut that one. Yeah. And I think after I did that, Aaron Sanchez goes, "What did this little lamb do to you?" I go, "Well, it didn't do anything, but I'll tell you, first of all, I'm a rancher, not a butcher, and beef is the only red meat." And so, I didn't know I was going to get kicked off on that one, but I won that. I actually sent Sam home on that. But it was that show then that I said, you know what? Kick the fear. Just go out and be you, do what you do. And there's a couple stumbles along the way. I mean, the steak challenge was the best one, and I'll highlight that one real quick. Basically, they came in the day and you didn't know it's going to be a mystery box. And so they bring this Holstein cow, and she was loaded with milk. This is early in the morning, and I didn't milk her. And she was, this one girl, and she goes, "Oh, I want him." I go, "Honey, you see that thing in the back? That ain't him." She goes, "I still want him." She kept professing, people think I have blonde hair. I'm stupid because I have blonde hair. I go, "Honey, it ain't the blonde hair." But you get there, and so I got to that steak challenge, and not steak challenge, beef challenge, and you got a mystery box. And so like I said, I messed up lamb, and I said, you know what? I'm going to leave. I'm going to be the last one out of this corral. So they say, "Go get your box." And so I walked to the very end, got the last box, picked it up, took it to my station. And I wanted two things. I wanted testicle or kidneys. Right. I wanted to show that I'm not, but I opened it up, and sure enough, there's a big old 2-inch porterhouse. And you can see me on the show. I raised my arms up there, and I go like, "You son of bitches just lost." And so I did a recipe, which unfortunately now, I mean, as a chef, I'm kind of pigeonholed into everyone wants a steak. And so, but I did the porterhouse, which I call that the mama and papa steak. And you got the tenderloin for mama, and you got the strip for papa. And hang on, back up. For people who don't understand that, explain to them what it is. Well, the difference between a T-bone and porterhouse, first of all, T-bone only has to have 3/4 inch of the tenderloin, and a porter has to have 2 inches plus of the. Sir. On that T of the bone, one side is that tenderloin, which all of us like, and the other side is the strip, which all of us like. Yes, sir. But so Mama likes tenderloin, Papa likes a strip. Get a little bit more, and so it's a great portion steak. I buy them now. I buy a porterhouse 3 inches thick and cook them. You can feed a family of 4. You can feed a family of 8, really. With it. But so I got that, and I said, you know what? I pan sear them in cast iron, and so I did that, and I made I did the onion marmalade, which I basically stole from Grady. I got to admit it. He's not the first guy, but it's caramelized onions. But I did that, and then I wanted to do greens, but the only thing I could find was Swiss chard, so I took Swiss chard and did that, and then I did my chipotle mashed potatoes, and then I did steak butter, and I put it on a plate, and they came around, looked at everybody's, and and the funny thing was, as the show's going on, you got a lot of people who say, "I'm going to win this," and they're really talented cooks. Yeah. I thought I was good until I got there. Yeah. So Gordon comes up and cuts it up, and he looks at it. It's glistening. He goes, "Man, you know how to cook a steak. Way to go, Cowboy!" And high-fived me, and that right then, that all fear was gone. Yeah. And so that was probably the highlight for me until the very end. And when we went to Caesar's to cook there, the bus ran over me, because when we're doing team, first of all, I helped everyone out on that team. I cut the fish. Jeff undercooked the fish. Right. Gabe was making the sauce. I stepped in with him. I stepped in with a girl that was stuffing them. And Yashika couldn't get the, not quinoa, the farro to cooked. And Danny, our captain, couldn't get it all together because, no one was on the same page. And they voted me and Yashika. And Danny said, "I'm going to take it." And they go, "Nope, Newton is." I go like, "Well, let's get it on." And so they said, team members taking 3 of them picked Newton. I took my apron off, and you see me take it off. And I go, "You son of bitches just ran over this bus. I tell you what, you better hope I don't get through, because I'm picking every one of you son of bitches off." And we got in that challenge, and it was weird because it was late at night. We did the challenge. We did at top of Caesar's. We did it in a private condo
right.
of someone overlooking the strip, and you're looking up and down the strip, and there's Master Chef. It's just me and Yashika.
Yeah.
And Yashika's a dear friend. I'm going to see her next month. We're going to be in Yakima, Washington for a burger contest.
Oh, cool.
And Yashika came out here and cooked with me, and so Yashika was up there. And we had to do one of Gordon's dishes, which was an incredible dish. It's an oyster poached in champagne, and then you made angel hair pasta. You had to do a beurre blanc. You had to cut batons, and then you topped it with caviar. And you had to do this all in 45 minutes. And you had to make the angel hair pasta.
Oh,
and
fresh?
you had to shuck it. Yeah, you had to make it fresh. And so I shucked them. And for some reason, I'm just pumping on all 8 centimeters. And I'm timings there. I got my oysters poached about 10 minutes. Before
right.
I need the time. I just started those. Then you nestle that pasta into a nest inside the shell. And then you put the oyster on top, and then you put the batons, and then you do your creme brulee. You do the creme brulee, and then top with caviar. And I was down, and so I said, I'll put the caviar last minute. Well, I went to go open the jar, and I couldn't. That part of after my stroke is I have no feeling and sensation in my left hand, and I don't have it here. So you see me drooling, just. It's just me.
And so, I saw you talking about chicken fried steak a while ago. No,
I know, that's called gleating. Yeah. So I got this thing put together, and I couldn't get it. I'm banging on this thing, and I'm wearing it out. I'm trying to get it open. I just can't. It's Jargate 2016. And finally took a knife, and about the time I did that, you could hear the people on the crew, and they're screaming, it's hysteria, and I just didn't get it on there. So they went to go do it, and the ultimate part was that I think Gordon was pulling. He said that's just an ancillary part of it. But I think it was a tie. I think they had to turn it over to the lawyers to figure out who did it. And unfortunately, I got sent home. But hell, if you can get sent home, better get sent home from Vegas, man.
That's right. That's right.
I tell you, the lights dimmed that night I was in Vegas. But the whole experience of it was, we got there with the group of 40, and you made a bunch of friends. We got down to 20. It was one big family.
Yeah.
And we still, there's a couple that have drifted away. That have drifted away. I think that show ruined them, or they just don't want to have anything to do.
Yeah.
But so many of us, we've gotten together with different reunions and cook, and
it's just stepping stones. You have to take everything you do as an experience and just apply it to somewhere where you need it. That's all it is.
And that's so true. And people call me a chef, and I reiterate, I'm more of a home cook. But someone said, I've seen what chefs put out, and you do a pretty good job. And I take that, but the humility of it is. I was blessed.
Yeah. You're blessed to be there.
Yeah, I was blessed
First of all, you're blessed to be alive.
Absolutely.
Lord.
Yeah, and people say...
You cheated death, man.
Well, knock on wood. Let's knock on wood here. But you're right, and so I came back with it, and my wife goes, what are you going to do with it now? And I said, let's get back. And so we started doing charity dinners for everything. Kids, bacon bash, Lions Club, the Optimus Club.
And all the stuff's on your website, right?
Absolutely.
Everything you do is on your website. Talk a little bit about your website.
Our website, Cowboy Chef Newton.
Right.
We just have little blogs about life experiences and things. I'm a little behind on those right now.
Recipes.
We talk about our swag, my trinkets and trash. I call it, my wife calls it swag.
Yeah.
And we try to do, then we're going to start featuring more stuff. We're going to do a little bit more traveling and cooking now, and cooking for other people around the place. So it's just a good website. You go to cowboychefnewton.com, you reach out, and Facebook and all that too. But we got our little pepper whipper here.
Look at this. They got a thing called the pepper whipper.
And
this is neat.
Let me see. I do have a knife on me. Let me see the thing. So this little thing, I wasn't the producer of it, but the people that made it quit doing it, and I hunted them down. It took me a while, and actually, I think my wife got with one of her friends and found out where they were, and so we bought these and we sell this. And I thought, man, this is a hokey little thing. It's one of these, I hate to say it, but one of these little kitchen Tupperware party type things.
You see right here.
It's just, acrylic plastic, and then.
But it's a fantastic tool.
It is, and what it is, when I'm a chef or when I'm cooking, and I have chefs that come in, they cut these, and they're trying to cut the veins out with a paring knife, a large knife. But you can just take this little thing down here like this, cut through these little veins as you can see them, and then just go through and cut them like so, and then you go through and spin it around,
and it
just kind of pops out there. You know, sometimes you have to get a knife to it. But it gets it out real nice.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm doing this on television. On television, radio, iHeartRadio. And look at it, pulls those seeds out. And look at that. That thing is cleaner than, look at the thing.
Look at that.
And you know what you do with that?
Y'all see that right there? Look perfectly clean. Look at that.
Yeah, you stuff that. You stuff that with a little barbecue, a little cheese, put it on a smoker. put it in your house, stuff it with a little
They
crab
also
meat.
make these racks you can buy at these stores. You set them in upright and cook. We've got one. Jan and I have one.
I've stumbled on it. Maybe I need that. Maybe my next trinkets and trash that I do.
We bought that at Central Market.
Yeah, you can get them. I mean, I think I found them at Walmart. You know,
Yeah.
so but they're little pepper.
Yeah,
poppers.
Walmart's going to be probably. Hey, Amazon probably. Can
I get a buster here to clean this up?
yeah.
So, you know, it's just a little thing we sell on there. You know, reach out to us. And
what's it called again?
It's called the Pepper Whipper.
Pepper Whipper.
Yeah, and you can find that in Newton.
Pepper Whipper.
Pepper Whipper. You can buy some T-shirts, buy some hats.
Whip them peppers.
I tell you what, people go like, wow, that's got to be a great
I'm going to take a pepper whipper to Janet and go whip Janet with it.
Well, yeah, you can come back with your hand on top of your head with a lump underneath it, wondering how in the hell that got there. Yeah, we got the pepper whippers, but that's a cool little thing we've done. And you know what, I didn't believe it, but in my chef bag, I carry it. And I tell you what, they're just great little things.
They're awesome. I use a lot of jalapenos, and I think it's fantastic. But I also I use a lot of the peppers, the orange, red, and the peppers that look like that. It'll work. You can get stuff out of there too, so it'll work for anything.
Yeah, and when you open them too, you know, instead of trying to take a knife, you can just take them, scoop them out. If you're doing peppers,
yeah.
It works super fast, and it's just not something I believe in so much. They went back in production for me, and they made me 1,000 of them. So I got 1,000 to get rid of. Yeah. You're more than welcome to buy up to 90. Let me see. There's 2 of them here. You're up to buy 998 of them.
We got 1,000 pepper whippers.
That sounds like that sounds like the Battle of San Jacinto.
I know it does.
Better be careful how I say that.
So he also has hats and merchandise stuff. It's neat, but the main thing is all his stuff on there that you do, and you cook for people as well. Do people hire you?
They do. We do custom catering.
Okay.
You can actually come to the ranch and eat at the house, and we like that a lot too. You know, people come out and see a sunset, and if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see some of our beautiful sunsets. But we go in that. But the big thing we do a lot of charities. My goal when I left the show was to get to 100,000, and right now we're close to. I think we're right at about 800,000 right now that we've raised for charities.
That's awesome.
So that's just going into people's houses cooking. So I got a pretty good steady. So if you want us to come cook, look up Cowboy Chef Newton, reach out to us. We'll come to your house and cook. You can come to ours. And, you know, we're going to have some new products come out. We got some wet products coming. I got a pepper relish I do.
Pepper relish, that sounds good. I love relish.
Oh, man.
Did you say jalapeno?
It's a jalapeno pepper relish I do. Man, you think it's got a little sweet to it. It's got a little stink to it. It's kind of like my motto. It's a little sweet, a little spicy, and it's easy on the eyes.
Hey, what's the best thing you've ever eaten? Not something you, but what's the best thing you've ever eaten?
You know, there's probably a couple of things that come to my mind. One of the first things was my first time to ever have turnitos of beef, and where they did it with the béarnaise sauce on top of it. I think that was probably one of the best. But you know, it's hard because I like so much.
No one's gonna hate you. Just tell me the best thing you ever ate.
Man, I tell you. You caught me off guard.
I did it.
But the Snapper de Mojo de Ajo at Javier's in Dallas is
Say
probably
that one more time.
The Snapper Mojo de Ajo. In Javier's.
You probably ain't saying that right.
It's Mojo de Ajo. For you Hispanic listeners, call me in and correct us, would you please? But I had that. That's probably one of the first things when I went to Javier's. I never expected gourmet.
I love Javier's, by the way.
Man,
I love the cigar bar.
We were just in there. I think we're going to go over Memorial Day.
I love the cigar bar. They're always, every time I wear a cowboy, they're always so nice to me over there.
My dad took me over there, and I was wearing a cowboy hat in there, and I came in. I went like, "Oh, Tex-Mex." Dad, where's the enchiladas? And I had that Snapper there.
Because Tex-Mex isn't a real thing, you know that. Tex-Mex is a made-up thing.
Heck, it's the Texas food.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but that, and then I had kidneys one time in France, and they brought them out, and all they had was butter, lemon.
Good.
Yeah, you know how to cook them?
No,
cook the piss out of them.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, folks, listen. Next month in June, I'm serious about this. We have we're part of the sponsorship on this deal. It's a Texas Wagyu Roundup Cook-Off. It's going to be a neat deal. For one ticket price, I think tickets are less than $50, or you can get a VIP for $99. But you get to eat, you get to visit with all the celebrity chefs. You get to eat their cooking. There's all kinds of raffles. They're going to have 4-wheel drive deals out there. They're going to have ATV deals. It's just going to be a neat deal. We've got the winner's going to win $2,500, man. The winner of the steak cook-off.
Am I allowed to go?
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to show it to you. Yeah, so if you're a chef, you want to do it's you want to come, you want to benefit, you want to help us with the Chris Kyle Foundation, and you know who Chris Kyle is. As a matter of fact, this new Blainstone Lodge is off Chris Kyle Memorial Highway, so it's a neat deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a neat deal. So, and it's also got the triplex out there. Wagyu is sponsored. They're gonna supply all the beef, which is just phenomenal because it's expensive. So if y'all want to do it, it's BlainestoneLodge.com. BlainestoneLodge.com.
We got a buddy over there, Josh Barbero.
Yeah, that's Josh.
Yeah, we know Josh real well.
Oh, Josh boy.
Yeah, Josh, his brother, and all this great little family.
Yeah. So, and if you're trying to find us, it's TreysChowdown.com, and don't use an A, use an E. I always say that all the good babies are born with the E, not the A in their names for Trey. And if you're looking for Spoonie, obviously it's Spoonie, Spoonie at Spoonie for Twitter, Instagram, anything, just at Spoonie. And then I want to talk one more time about his website. It is CowboyChefNewton.com.
CowboyChefNewton.com.
You can go on there. You can come cook for you. He'll do benefits. He does all kinds of stuff. You got his merchandise. He's got his. I love this thing. This pepper whipper.
I'll send you home with a couple. Yeah, so now we have 996 available.
Yeah, I may sell one. Just kidding. But yeah, and we're going to be back here next Friday. Be sure and tune in. And then I want y'all to go to. I want y'all to please be sure and go to this Blainstone Lodge website. It's important that we do this because it's we're trying to raise money for this Chris Kyle Foundation and some other things for Blainstone and have a good time. So I just want y'all to be sure y'all do that. It's Blainstone, and Blainstone is BLAINESTONE, just like it sounds. Blainstone Lodge. You got anything else, Michael?
I got to give a shout out to my neighbor who takes care of me, Austin Mars.
Austin Mars, what's he do?
He's my neighbor, which he puts up with a lot. No, he's just a guy that when we're not there, he takes care of us, and so I've had to give him a shout out.
Awesome. And again, I want to say, check us out. TreysChowdown.com. It's important y'all get on there. TreysChowdown.com. We have a free restaurant guide. We have a Texas barbecue guide now. Wow. We got a chef's guide. We do blogs and articles, which are done, 3 or 4 or 5 a week. We just have a huge website. You can check it out.
You do a great job at it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy.
Bye now.
You. Giddy up.
Get on out of here. I thought it was a good show.